So, Doug, performance and attribution is sort of is in the DNA of your agency, always has been. I wanted to ask, how that's changing, uh, the sort of expectations across screens, how you're measuring business outcomes. So, let's level set a little bit about the industry and the work that you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's such a great question, and no time like the present to deal with making sure every dollar being spent is a dollar that we can prove is adding value to a client. Now, we were born from search, and we have a digital heritage to us, but more and more dollars we manage are dollars that you might assume to be traditional or could have been considered just years ago traditional. And that's because more clients are looking for greater accountability. And we believe that no dollar gets a free pass, that your video dollars should be held to the same level of accountability as your search dollars. And today you can do that. And it just requires a different orientation, a different way of thinking about planning. I think a lot of times people get caught up in the technical aspects of how you do this and don't think about the strategic elements that if you think about how you have to plan differently for an outcome based approach versus a more traditional reach based or impression driven approach.
So, getting into sort of the technical side, what are some of the tools that are bubbling up that you're using, and what kind of tools would you like to see available?
Yeah, I think one of the things that there's a lot of misconception around is what is the right way to do attribution in a multi-channel or media mix format. Media mix modeling is good. However, a lot of media mix models are built on driving awareness and not necessarily built for outcome. A lot of times when we actually either work with a third party or do our own MMMs in house, we're actually creating them for both awareness and outcome so that then we can find the right way to dial that up, dial that down. The other challenge with MMMs is that they're at times a one and done, that just because you've created that media mix, that then how do you change that on an ongoing basis? So we've actually created a couple of different scenario planning tools that allow us and now our clients to go in, especially now more than ever. I wonder, what if, how about, all of these questions are critical. And if we could dial up, dial down certain channels or certain outcomes, what does that do to create that right mix?
Does AI figure into this, machine learning, or what flavor works or does it, or tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're using AI to do a lot of the scenario planning. So instead of running a few simulations that, we might have somebody from a data science or analytics be able to do, we can now have a bunch of simulations done and be able to understand what is that right level of optimization. It's no different than how we're using AI to do bid adjustments for algorithmic, and biddable media in order to find that right optimization level. So the same theories apply. You just have to almost flip your mindset instead of thinking about, how do you embed or infuse digital into traditional. Why can't every channel or every media decision be done in a way that is digital first?
And Doug, we've been talking about cross-screen uh, productivity results campaigns for a long time. It seems that it's becoming much more realistic now. And I wanted to ask you about the measurement plans across screens, meaning TV success tied to other digital, programmatic, mobile ad success. It's a fragmented world. How do you guys pull it all together?
The first thing that comes to mind whenever somebody asks me that is, I guess, very carefully. It's very easy um, to actually not be able to get a clear understanding. One of the biggest challenges we see is just even within all the biddable channels that you might have a team over there buying one form of video and a team somewhere else buying another form of video. So how do you start to pull that together so that you can understand an overall universal reach and frequency for all of your video? And we use a variety of tools. Obviously, what we're trying to do and strive for is more and more addressable media, understanding where that begins, and then add linear to fill out the plans when we can't go fully addressable and reach or maximize the entire opportunity that we have to achieve.
And Doug, I wanted to ask you how you know you're reaching new customers and delivering incremental performance. How do you know that, and how do you go about doing that?
Well, I think one of the things we're doing more and more is connecting it full funnel. So just because somebody's been exposed to a video unit, especially online, how do we then start to see what the downstream activity is? So obviously, we see a lot of search signals. We see a lot of other digital signals as well. So we can start to stitch that together and then be able to understand, is this somebody that's been in a repetitive process before, meaning they just haven't converted, and now we need to deliver the right message to push them over that conversion? Or is there even things that we need to do post-click? So one of the great things we have in our tool set is a optimization team that looks at post-click landing pages and how do we convert the site-side traffic based on what we're seeing from media activity in a more effective way.
And finally, Doug, give us some of your thoughts about how the pandemic has impacted demands of your clients, their expectations, the work that you guys do. How has it maybe changed things, and what are some of the implications for the future?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that's here to stay is the notion of agility. We often talk to our clients about having what I call pivot plans, that you just need to be ready for any situation. And in this case, in 2020, what started perhaps as the pandemic has led to the summer of social injustice that continues, the election. Now we're into holiday, and holiday for some is turning out to be what they thought or what they didn't think. So the one thing that's most important for clients is just be agile, be ready to change, and have a plan for the plan for the plan. And I think having that type of mindset is really helping clients be able to, find the right success at a moment's notice.